What's happening, y'all? This is Andrew. Welcome back to the Closet Recording Studio. Today, Mirror Music is doing another reaction, this time to NaS's TSK, which is the second song from Magic 3. So, again, for those of you who haven't seen any of the previous ones in the Magic series reactions, we're doing reactions to every single song in the Magic series. I got about halfway. I did all of Magic 2. I got halfway through Magic 1, and then he released Magic 3. So we're doing 3, and then we'll go back to 1, and we'll have all of them. Anyway, so again, I've heard this album before, but have not studied it closely. So this is what I hear. This is TSK. Oh, that's a. It's that sounds like K's Choice, not an addict. That's a deep cut for those of you who spent a lot of time listening to alternative radio in the mid to late 90s. But there's a song called Not an Addict that has a thing at the beginning too. I don't know that that's where the sample actually comes from, but it reminded me of that.
All I see is blurbs, all I see is words, nerds talking about what they did, seen, or heard. And all I see is clones. See you motherfuckers with mixtape plans because they seeing how we moving. And all they say is this, but they ain't saying shit.
So this, and one of the things that I've noticed in a lot of NaS's songs, so I'm gonna turn that volume down a little bit to make sure you can hear me over the music. But one of the things I've seen in a lot of NaS's songs that I've talked specifically through on this channel is that the crime, or the biggest crime that you can commit as an MC, is not being real, is being fake, is speaking about things that are not true to your own lived experience. And I think that's what he's talking about there. All I see is words, as in I'm seeing just words, not actions, right? And action and words that are about actions that you didn't accomplish, right? So again, you can talk about basically anything in hip-hop. You can talk, as far as I can tell anyway, you can talk about basically anything in music generally, as long as it's like a genuine representation of you, right? So just be real, and everybody will be okay, and Nas won't have to come after you.
Talk reckless when I do not work for them. They say come harder, come smarter. Which one it is? Which one you want to hear? Since you such a music whiz. First thing I learned when I was coming up in age, when they started.
Okay, I'm gonna go back a little tiny bit right there after I say this too. I'm going to make a confession, actually. This is, Andrew being a self-centered, like the universe revolves around me kind of person. But when I first heard the first part of that verse, I was like, is he talking about me? Because I mean, I definitely am a music nerd for sure, without question. And I can't obviously speak to hip-hop experiences. I did not grow up in that culture. I did not grow up, I grew up with it kind of as a background soundtrack in certain places, but it was not part of my lived experience as a young man. There's always that tension for me that I'm thinking, not do I deserve to be able to talk about this, but do I really have enough things to say about it that come across as not just, discount Tom Segura. Somebody called me that in the comments once, and I think about that every day. It's hilarious. Talking about something he doesn't know anything about. So I appreciate your encouragement in the comments. Just tell me that I actually do have something to say.
Him in the face. The second thing I learned, I was in the second grade, sliding on the second base. I can orchestrate this game. The third I heard was if it quacks, it's a duck. The fourth, of course, just be upfront what you want.
Does he say quacks is like a duck, or does he say cracks? I mean, I know the phrase is if it quacks, it's a duck, right? That means you should again, it comes back to the beginning, right? You should believe people's actions and not their speech, even though quacks is kind of speech, but that's having quibbles with the phrase, not with Nas. So yeah, if you have to believe what you're seeing and believe your own power. Those are his pieces of advice. I mean, like the first one he says, if somebody steps you, you punch them in the mouth, right? That's, we're talking about that. I think I was talking about that on the previous video, actually, that from an outsider's perspective, hip hop feels like a punch you in the mouth kind of game, much like punk rock does. I mean, that's very much a punch you in the mouth kind of game too.
The fifth was this, keep something crisp on your wrist. Now we on album 6, the top team on your list.
Now we're on album 6.
Another hundo, industry cutthroat, watch how I construct though. Concrete jungle, if rappers were presidents, I would get Trump's vote. Truly, I'm just staying humble, but I could take.
I've worked on that line a lot. Like, if rappers were presidents, then I would get Trump's vote. Like, I don't know what to make of that line. It's not bad, but it's confusing to me. I don't know that I follow his argument there. So if somebody understands that a little bit better, please help me out. I don't know if he's kicking back to the dead president's line, like the money part, from, I should know the name of that song. I want dead presidents to represent me. Anyway, sorry. That is my blank for the day. Anyway, so if you understand that line better than I do, please help me out in the comments. Let me go back on this because this is very important too. I can take it back. Yeah, that might be one of the thesis statements of the album. I can take it back to nasty if I want to. And clearly it has been explained to me that Nasty Nas was his like original like stage name or whatever. Am I right to say that? But before I really thought about it like that, I thought about it like this, that this seems to be in his career the magnanimous part, right? The idea that he doesn't have to pick fights, he doesn't have to get in beefs, he doesn't have to do anything. He can be generous with his spirit, he can be generous with his time, he can be generous with his music, obviously, 6 albums in 3 years. But so I would use the word magnanimous for that. And he's also kind of taking on the persona as kind of a wise old sage too. But to me, that line is, don't get it twisted, guys. Like, I can still be nasty. I can still take you out if I need to, right? It has that kind of feeling to it. It means it in the hip hop sense, obviously. But like, as far as I know, nobody's ever challenged him in the hip hop sense and won. So, again, if that has happened, please tell me. But like, I don't think that this happened. So he's saying, I hear that line as, don't mistake my benevolence and magnanimousness for weakness, right? Because I can still get after it if I need to. That person, right?
What time is it?
Showtime, bro.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, that. And this and that. You know? Yeah. Don't be scared to execute the vision, lock in. Get back to the art, not the trends. TSK.
That's going to be one of those lines that gets quoted too, I think. And there seems to be one of those in every song, right? But let's get back to the art, not the trends, TSK. Like, it's in the... I thought when I looked at the title on here that TSK was... not just TSK, right? TSK, but like an abbreviation for something. And it may be that it might be an abbreviation for something that I'm just like, it's just going over my head. But if it is, tell me, please. But the idea that he's about the art and not the trends... that's another thing that comes with age, right? That you've done all of the things now, and now he just gets to make the music that he wants to make.
I mainly invented raps by banging on tabletops and taking on any competition.
Right.
Listen, they put
Going back to the
hammers in your
history.
ribs, but I'm too legit to quit. They like Bishop
history.
with the blick. They exposing who a bitch. And I'm like furious when he took his son to fish. Dropping knowledge on the kids. Drop top when we slid. lawns, trip on, Dior slides, grip on, the handrails, trimp on some acres. Pull off the tails off, strips on, beyond blonde, tip on, some fine wine, we just some shakers.
So that, I'm gonna have to look up those lyrics, hold on. Step on lawns, trip on Dior, slide, grip on the handrails, crib on some acres, pull off the tails off shrimps, some beyond blonde. I'm obviously doing the rhythm badly, sorry, but sip on some fine wine. So it's also showing decadence, right? So we got Dior in there and pulling tails off shrimps and having some acres and all of those things. I mean, independent of the incredible poetry, that the on, going to grip on, crib on, like all of those poem parts that are it all.
So when Planet Rock came out the Bronx, I was watching boom boxes, Kilo Rock never made it rich. Then when I witnessed that the benefits of living good from making hits, I make bread off what I invent.
When I witnessed the benefits of living good from making hits, I make bread off what I invent. That is some bars there. That is the benefits of living good from making hits. And how many different flows has he had in that verse? Like 4, maybe? It's nuts.
Probably grab another hundo. Industry cutthroat. Watch how I construct though. Concrete jungle. If rappers were presidents, I would get Trump's vote. Truly, I'm just staying humble, but I could take it back to nasty.
Is the Trump thing just a money thing?
Young, dumb, crazy motherfucker from the hood.
Like, and the beat at the end of this is very different from the one at the beginning, too. So, the change in beat, I don't remember when it happened, but it definitely is mirroring his progression through his career too, which is kind of, again, we've talked about this before, one of the themes of the album is that he has gone through the ringer, he has gone through difficult times and come out on the other side as this very wealthy, very accomplished musician, businessman, but one who is still hungry too, one who still wants to show all these young kids that he's still got it, but he's still better than all of them too. And I can't argue with the fact that he has accomplished that either. Bigger picture, he is saying that I think that Nasty Nas line is the center point of the song, to me anyway, that just because I am not coming after your head doesn't mean I can't, right? So just watch yourself and watch what you say, right? There's it's not a threat exactly, but it's certainly an implied threat. So it's just a be careful. And coming full circle, TSK, like that is the kind of thing that grandmas say to little kids, or grandpas say to little kids, right? That is a less so an age thing, but more of a putting little kids in their place thing, right? And I think that's what, for me, this is what the song is it's a reminder of who he is and what he's capable of. It's good stuff, as always. So take care, y'all. We'll see you tomorrow.